Hi everyone, welcome to Northern Zen Yoga. My name is Sandra and today we're doing Yin Yoga. So if you haven't got your stuff together already and you want to go grab a blanket, a couple of small pillows, if you have a block, grab a block. And also if you have any other of the fancy equipment, bolsters, snafus, whatever you have, it's always great to have that in Yin Yoga. And the other thing is too, you should be dressed a little warmer, wearing socks and a sweatshirt. If you're not already prepared for that, if your room is cool, you're going to want to warm up, okay? Because you're going to not be building any kind of heat because we're not moving around that much. We hold the postures for a period of time so you can get cool. Even if you want to have an extra throw blanket that you can drape over you just to cuddle up in while you're in your stretch, that's okay too. So if you haven't got that stuff, go get it now. It's going to be a few minutes while other people sign in for getting to do that. If you haven't said hello yet, please, and you have the ability to, if you're not watching this on your television, to say hello in the chat area, please do that and tell me what area you're from in the world so that I can say hello to you and let other people know where you are watching from. So Dottie has already said hi to me. Hi, Dottie. And Alyssa. Good afternoon, Alyssa. Joyce. Hi, Joyce. She says she's having internet problems with her TV, so she'll be on her phone. So hopefully her phone will have a big enough screen that you can see what I'm doing there, but at least you'll be able to hear me. Now, the other thing too, I want to point out that's also lovely to have during a Yin Yoga class is some music. Now, because of YouTube's restrictions on copywriting and having to pay royalties to people's music, and they're very, very strict about that, and for good reasons, I never have music playing. For two reasons. One, that is probably the main reason, is because of the copyright infringement that could happen. And the second one is I want to make sure you're hearing me and not music over the feed. So if you have some really nice, mellow, low-key, nothing that's going to want you to get up and dance to, please go and set that up now too, so that you can have some very nice, calm music to listen to while you relax into the stretches. Because we do hold the stretch for up to 4 minutes. So during that time, it's very helpful to have something to distract your mind and listen to. Jerry is here. She's in Atlantic Beach. I'm planning to come down in that area sometime. As soon as COVID has settled down and we can travel freely again, I'd love to come down and see Atlantic Beach. I've only been up in North Carolina around South Beach, I think it's called South Beach, and Calabash area. So I like to see the area that you're up in. It looks gorgeous. And Shauna is here. Hi, Shauna. Shauna is a very good friend of mine. So nice to see that you're joining us. Okay, so one of the things I want to point out to you today is somebody had asked me last week on the newsletter why I didn't include the class that we'd be having this week. And the real reason is because I hadn't decided. But then shortly after I sent the newsletter out, I realized, yeah, I kind of had decided. So I'm going to do my best to let you know what's coming up for the following week classes. But in case you don't, usually by the time the Friday class rolls around, I know what I kind of have in mind for the next week. I hate to promise that's exactly what it's going to be, but for the most part, it probably will be. So next week, we will be doing a little bit of a focus type practice on both Tuesday morning and Friday afternoon. And the focus is going to be on twists. Now, in yoga, we have several different postures that can also add a twist into it. We haven't always done the additional twists in this class, but I was thinking that the springtime is the perfect time to add these into the program because twisting has this ability to engage a little bit of massaging into the internal organs. And by doing that, we can effectively begin a detoxification of those organs by stimulating them, by squeezing them, by massaging them. So twists in yoga are an integral part of the practice for that reason, for a kind of a detoxing effect. So next week, we're going to look at adding some twisting into the practice a little more than we have up to now. And of course, how you can modify this for you and your particular limitations of your body right now. The other thing, I just want to go through the list of stuff I always like to remind you about, and that is that you should subscribe to this channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe. That way, if I'm on your subscription list, you'll get a notification of any of the new videos that are coming up. Plus, you will also be notified when the live class is posted. And I usually post it, the window for it, roughly about a half an hour ahead of time, sometimes a little less, depending, so that you'll know and be reminded that the class is going to be happening. The other things you can, if you haven't already, you can like me on Facebook, you can follow me on Instagram. And if you go to my website, you will have a page there on the drop-down tabs that says newsletter. So if you haven't signed up for a newsletter from me, just go in there, put your email address in, it's automatic, it goes to my feed, and then when I send out the newsletter, your email address is added to the list automatically. So the other thing too is this class, I do ask for a donation for it, and you can also find out the options for donating to this live classes on my website as well under Become a Patron. So you can donate as little as $5 a class, or if you prefer, you can do a monthly donation where you pay for the whole month of classes. This is a good way to do it if you're going to be thinking about paying for each class and you're doing 2 classes a week. And you can also make another donation of your choice, and there's a few other options there. But please, only donate if it's within your means to do that. I understand that with COVID and a lot of people losing their jobs and things getting terribly expensive because of the limitations with travel and with shipping, that if you can't, you can't. And I appreciate that you probably have a situation where not right now you can't. So that's all right. Don't worry about it. Keep watching anyway. So the only other thing I want to remind you is there's still some space in my meet and greet Zoom event that's happening on April the 7th. It's a Wednesday and it's at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If you're interested in that, email me at northernzenyoga@gmail.com. And I'll be sending out the link in the next couple of weeks. So make sure that you let me know as soon as you can so that I can make sure you get the link to the Zoom meeting. All right, I think I've said all the announcements I have to say. So let's look at the equipment that we use in Yin. I just want to go through this very quickly so that you understand what all this stuff can do for you in your Yin Yoga practice. So one of the things that's very commonly used is a blanket. So blankets can be rolled up. You can sit on them. You can fold them a little more neatly, and use it as a pad under your knees if you have very sensitive knees. You can also use it in one of the stretches we're going to do today as sort of a cushion to help you do a little bit of a bend. And when we get to that one, I'm going to show you exactly what to do. There's this lovely little cushion here. It's made with, I think this is buckwheat in here, buckwheat hulls. You can also get them with, I think it's like little white pellets that you can buy. I think they sell them at Walmart. You can make these yourself really easily. I've made a few myself. This one is a store-bought one. It's called a snafu. It starts with a Z. So this is kind of a cushion that you can sit on, you can kneel on it, and because it's got all that movement, you can squish it down to fit around your body. I also have here what's called a meditation mat. This is also great for the kneeling positions to give you some softness under your knees or under your bottom when you're in the various stretches. I only use this usually for either meditation or for yin yoga. Regular yoga practice, it's in the way. I need something, if I need something for my knees, I need something a lot smaller. Small cushions are great for shoving them in places to help support your knees even as you're in an easy pose, or kneeling on this. This is a nice squishy one. You can kneel on it. It's very soft under your knees. And of course, we've got the bolster. So the bolster comes in handy for a lot of things. One of the things that's going to come very much in handy for it is one of the first postures we're going to do. And that is simply just to put it on an angle and lean your head against it. You can see that. Just resting your forehead just to give you something to lean against. And again, when we get into the various postures, I will show you what to do at that particular time, or at least give you an idea what you can do with it. So, anybody else checked in to say hey? Oh, hi, Grandma Peace. Hi, good to know you there. Her first name is Patty. But I call her Grandma Peace. Okay, and she's here from British Columbia on the West Coast. So we're going to begin. So let's begin in our usual place that we begin in, and that is in a comfortable seated position in easy pose. And if you have your cushions or even your blanket rolled up and you sit yourself on that, you will lift your hips up a little higher, and it makes it a little easier for your knees to relax out and your hips to open up. Gotta get my timer closer. So I'm just repositioning this, and I'd like you to come into easy pose. Our very first stretch is simply going to be easy pose. So you have your own easy pose. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I don't expect you to sit like I can sit. At least, I'm hoping that eventually over the time you will start to get toward that position. But depending on your knees and your hips, your easy pose might look a little more like this, where you're kind of crossing your feet at the ankles if possible. Your knees may be up here. They might be able to drop out a little further. If you're finding a lot of strain in this position of having your knees out, you can always grab those pillows and shove them under here to help support the leg as it drops down. If you can get your feet crossed and you can bring your heels closer to your body, but your knees are way up like this, that's fine too. So whatever your easy pose looks like, just make sure that one foot is in front of the other so that you can relax out. We're not pulling the feet up into the lap. This is not lotus pose, simply easy pose. And we're going to spend a little time here. So the time we're going to spend here, we're going to start to breathe. So I want you to close your eyes for a moment and just settle your body down. You can work the kinks out of your back. Let your shoulders just relax down. Let your shoulder blades slide down your back. Take a few breaths, deep breaths. We're going to breathe through the nose, and we're going to inhale into our belly, pushing our belly out. But on our exhale, we're going to open our mouth and sigh. So it's going to be a deep inhale, exhaling out. And as you do that, just allow that sigh to just melt you down just a little more. Take another deep breath in and let it go. Put your hands on your belly. As you breathe in, feel the belly expand. Make sure you're breathing right down to the bottom so that your belly needs to push out. Try not to just breathe to here, okay? And if you do this, you might cough. and that's okay. You're opening up the lungs and you're getting some of that gunk that's down there moving around and opening up and allowing your lungs to take in more oxygen. So let's take that deep breath in. And on the exhale, sigh it out. Let your shoulders relax. One more time. Inhale into your belly. Exhale through a sigh. And breathe. If you can, keep breathing, pushing your belly out, but now breathe in and out through the nose. Let your arms relax down. Your hands can be resting on your lap, either face down or face up. Or you can clasp your hands together in your lap, whatever feels comfortable for you. Try not to let your chin droop now. And instead, we're going to relax the head back and lift the chin up toward the ceiling. And just go as far as your neck feels comfortable to go today. And you're going to feel a nice stretch up in the front of the jaw. Keep breathing deeply. One more inhale. And on your exhale, let your chin drop down toward your chest. Bring your head back up to center again. And we're going to reach down and we're going to switch the feet. So whatever leg you had in the front, you're going to bring it back, and vice versa. The one in the back is going to come forward. And even if this was you way out here like this or like this, you're going to switch that position now. So switching around, changing the position of the legs, coming back into our relaxed seated position. Make sure you let those shoulders relax down away from your ears. And make sure you're not slumping forward. So lift up the chest, nice straight spine. We're going to take those deep breaths into our belly and exhale through the mouth again with a sigh. Notice how with each sigh, your body relaxes down. Let's go some stress, some tension. So we're going to take our left arm, and we're going to grab it wherever we can with our right hand. And we're just going to gently pull that arm close to our chest. So we're grabbing hold of something, not our elbow so much, forearm, the upper arm, and we're just going to try to bring that. Now, if you do put your hand near your elbow, that's where you can reach best. Make sure you spread it out so that part of your hand is on your forearm, and we're gently going to guide that arm close to the chest. So you're going to feel a little pulling in your shoulder joint. And if you like, you can just rest that arm down onto the other shoulder. And if you're able to, bring that shoulder more toward the middle of your body and keep your hand up. Do that, but if that isn't comfortable for you, just bring it to where you can and allow your arm to relax a bit. This is called eagle arms, but in this case, we're doing a modified eagle arms. Just breathe into this stretch. Release your arm. Let it relax back down again. If you need to shake the shoulder joint out, just give it a few circles. And then we're going to switch sides. So we're going to grab the other shoulder and we're going to bring the arm in toward the chest. You can keep your hand up like I have it here. Great. If not, just relax yourself wherever you can. You want to feel the stretch, though, in the shoulder joint as you pull the arm forward. So these stretches, we're not holding them for a long time. We're just holding them for several breaths, just giving the body a little bit of a wake-up call in the spine because we're going to be doing some stretching of our spine today. Keep breathing. And release that down. So you notice you're probably feeling a little heavy, a little achy in the shoulders. So you can just roll the shoulders back, opening up some space there again. Hands back as far as you can toward each other. If you can't get them all the way toward each other, just work on bringing the hands back as far as you can. You can drop them down onto your mat or onto your cushion. And we're pulling the shoulder blades toward each other. So we're pulling the chest as well open. So this is the opposite of what we were just doing before. But if you can, if you're able to, try to see if you can grab your hands, and then we're purposefully going to start to pull our shoulders back. So just watch my body for a second. You see my shoulders are just relaxed forward, and now I'm pulling them back. And by doing that, I'm pulling open my chest a little more, and the stretch is across the front of my chest, just below where my neck comes into my collarbone area. And I'm also feeling a squeezing as my shoulder blades start to squeeze toward each other. But if you're not able to reach your hands today, just bring your hands back as far as you can until you feel enough sensation to know that you're stretching. And breathe. Very important to keep breathing into the belly. And if you feel the urge to sigh again, just do what your body tells you to do. And let's release that, shake that out. So we're going to come into, from this position, a forward fold, and we're going to come into a half butterfly. So this is where we're going to hold it for a little bit longer. Now, half butterfly, you can begin with your right leg extended out. If you need something underneath your thigh to help support your leg, if you can't flatten your leg out completely, then grab something, a pillow, a small pillow, and put that under there. If you're lucky enough to have a bolster, this is one of the places where the bolster can be used as a resting place for your head. So I understand that a lot of you don't have this. If you don't, instead, what you can do is you can take your blanket that's rolled up and you can put it across your lap. So one leg is extended out. If you need a cushion underneath here for support, put it underneath just behind your knee. And then the other leg is going to be coming in toward the groin area. So if you can only pull your leg in this far and it looks more like this, that's okay. That's where you are today. But otherwise, I want you to try to work on bringing that heel toward the groin and then relaxing this leg out. So if you have a lot of sensation going on here, a lot of pulling, you can shove things under here to help support that leg to keep it from being too uncomfortable. But you do want to feel a little stretch. So for me, I can drop my knee all the way down. But then you can take the blanket, if you like, and you can tuck it into your belly and you can relax down, pressing your belly into the blanket. to kind of fill up that gap that otherwise would be there if you couldn't quite come all the way down to your leg and drop your belly to your leg. So this is just for extra support because we will be here for 4 minutes. If you don't have a rolled up blanket, you can shove another pillow. You can do anything you like. You want to shove in here to just give you a little bit of a spacer between your leg and your belly. But the object is to bring the belly down toward the thigh. So keep that in mind. It's not where your head is. It's not about that at all. I'm going to set the timer. We're going to be here for 4 minutes. So let's take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, start to relax down. Let your chest become heavy. Let your belly become heavy. I'm just going to move this out of my way. Take that deep breath into the belly again. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale again, nice and deep into your belly. Push your belly out. Exhaling through the mouth. Relaxing down. And let yourself go. Just let yourself go. If you begin to feel tension building up inside you, take a couple more of those deep breaths, exhaling through the mouth. Moan and groan and sigh out. Take another deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. See if you can relax just a little more. Coming down just a little deeper. Take one more deep breath into your belly. Exhaling through the mouth. Slowly, slowly coming back up. Use your hands to push you up. Don't use your back. And you probably notice in the stretch that your hamstrings probably started talking to you and your back started talking to you. So those are the areas that we're stretching out. So if you like, you can shake out this leg a little bit. And then we're going to switch sides. So if you've had this knee bent a bit, it might be feeling a little bit stiff from being bent for so long. So just make sure you also wake that up too. Give it a little bit of a massage. And then switching sides. So whatever this looks like on this side is what it looks like on this side. So bringing your heel close to the body. And again, you can use your cushions here to help support you as you lean forward. As long as you're not taking away any of the sensation, also for the back of the leg if you like. And I'm going to set the timer again. Let's take a deep breath in. You can stretch up if you like. Inhaling up, and on the exhale, bringing your belly down toward your thigh. Keep your head up so that you're not fooling yourself into thinking you're going down deeper than you really are. And just find your stopping point. Find the point where the sensation becomes too strong and you have to stop. You can even, once you get there, back it up just a little bit and then start breathing deeply. Deep breaths into the belly. Exhaling through the mouth. Taking lots of those long, slow, deep breaths. Each one letting all the tension go in your body. Allowing you to sink a little deeper. One more inhale deep into your belly. Exhale through the mouth. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhaling through the mouth. You feel tension building up, take those deep breaths and sigh them out or moan them out, whatever it takes to release the tension in your body. Allowing you to stretch and go deeper into your stretch. Take another deep breath in, right to your belly. Exhaling through the mouth. Come up very slowly. Use your hands to push you up. Bring your knees up to your chest, hug them in. And take a few moments to let our body just relax back again. So one of the things I want to warn you about is that in Yin Yoga, quite often, especially when we're working on the area around the hips and the pelvis, we have strong emotions come up. Some people experience moments of anger bubbling up. Others experience moments of deep sadness and they start to cry. And this is quite normal because we are doing so much that releases the tension that we're holding in our joints, that these emotions have been created from that tension, from those emotions. And so when we release them, they're released and the emotion comes back up again. This is quite normal. A lot of times when you experience this and you haven't been warned about it, you wonder what's the matter with you and you think you should be stopping the yoga practice and going away. But don't do that. Release it, allow it, and continue, because you're on a good path to being able to get some of that stress that's hiding in you out again. So we're going to come on to our side. And I want to make sure I warn you that this is very intense for your spine to be in this position. So I'm going to show you what to do with your blanket. Now, one of the things you can do and be able to get a benefit from this, if you find that the roll-up blanket is way too much for you to handle, is you can simply have a cushion down, a flat cushion or a small cushion like that, and you're going to put that right where your waistline is, so between your hip bone and your rib cage, and you're going to lay across it. Or if you have a big flat pillow like I have here, you can have your hip up here and you can have your shoulder down here. You'll get the same sort of effect. For those of you that think your back is able to handle more stretch, you can roll up a blanket, but I wouldn't go much bigger than this roll is right now, and that's probably about 4 or 5 inches high. The other thing about the blanket is if you find that's too high, you can just unravel it until you get to a place where it feels much doable for your back. So I can't feel your back. I don't know when you are in a position that you are not feeling very good at all. So you have to be honest with yourself. If you get into this position and you feel any kind of discomfort bordering on pain, you need to reevaluate how much of a roll you're going to have in your waistline. So for those of us that can handle a little more, you're going to use a little thicker one, and those that can't, you're going to use something a little less high or less rigid. For example, if I was to put this squishy cushion, it's got so much squishability to it that I could probably be very comfortable here, but for me it wouldn't be enough stretching. So I'm going to set this up and we're going to lay on our side, and you can begin on your right side or your left side, whichever side feels better for you today. And I'm just going to have a quick sip here of my tea. Move it out the way. And then we're going to make sure this roll, this part that's high, is where our waistline is. So our hip bone is on one side and our rib cage is on the other. And then we're going to stretch out. So we've got this little lift here. Our hips are lower than our waistline is, and our chest is coming down lower. In this case, I'm on a cushion as well, so I've got a lot of a dip coming down here. You don't need to be that high. You can just use the blanket. And then you're going to stretch out and you're going to find your comfort place. Knees can be bent toward the chest. Usually though, if you stretch them out, you'll feel more intense sensation in the stretch. It's up to you. Modify this to what works for your body. If you find that having your head down on your mat is way too much, but you like the sensation of the rolled up blanket where it is, then you could come up like this if you like onto your hand, but you might start to, hand might go to sleep. So you're better off finding another cushion that you can put your head on that will keep your head just a little higher. So I'm going to set our timer now. And take a deep breath in and relax down. Take lots of those deep breaths. And this is where you evaluate your back, how it's feeling. You want to feel a stretch. You want to feel a little bit uncomfortable, but you don't want to have any sharp, stabbing, jolting pains going on. This top arm could be over your face, if that feels good, or it can just be lying beside you, or behind you, or in front of you. This part is not that important. Keep breathing deeply. Sighing out all the tension in your body. Deep breath in, exhale. Take another deep breath in. Let it go through your mouth. I'm going to be coming up in a second. Come up very, very slowly. I want you to press your hands into the floor. I want you to make sure your knees are coming up into your chest. Get your elbow underneath you. We're not using our back to lift up at all. We're using our arms, our hands. We're going to push into the floor, coming upright again. Come up to a sitting position. Take your time. Bringing your back into alignment again. You're going to feel a little bit off kilter. That's normal because we've just stretched the back in that direction. Take a few deep breaths here, just letting your body settle back down again. We're going to go to the other side now. So you can either roll over or you can switch sides like I'm going to switch. Setting yourself up so that you're working now and you're pushing this into the space on the opposite hip between the hip bone and the rib cage. Coming down nice and slowly, finding that spot first, and then lowering your body down. Let's set the timer. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, begin to melt down. And if you want your knees up toward your chest, you can do that. Otherwise, work at straightening them out. Coming down, relaxing down. And your arms can be anywhere that feels comfortable. Now, a lot of times as you move into the stretch on the opposite side, you're going to feel a lot more tension in your back as we move the spine in the opposite direction. So be careful you're not forcing yourself to do anything your body isn't ready for yet. Give it time to start to melt. Give it time to relax. Keep taking those deep breaths in through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Deep breath in, exhaling through the mouth. One more deep breath in, exhaling through the mouth. We're going to be coming up shortly. So I want you to very, very slowly bring your knees up to your chest if they're not already there. Push your hands into the floor, get your elbow under you, pushing yourself upright. Using your hands, you're going to come into an upright position. Don't make your back do the work. and come back into an easy pose, or you can stretch your legs out, whatever feels good for you, coming into an upright position. Now your back is going to experience some uncomfortableness from these particular stretches. We're going to do one more. It's going to be to bend your back a little bit from the pelvis. So using either your cushion, or in this case, if you prefer, you can use a block or your bolster. Bolster might be a little bit too intimidating. It might be a little bit too high up for your back. Just like on the sides, you have to decide how much of a back bend you can tolerate here. So if you've been doing with me your yoga practice and having the block underneath you at the low setting is been tolerable, then please, that's what you can use. You can use that or something that's equivalently high. So what we're going to do is we're going to come onto our back and we're going to grab our blanket or a block, and we're going to lay down. And I'm going to have to move my cushion because that's just a little bit too far back for my neck. I'm just going to get this out of the way. I'm going to bring my body down onto the mat. And if you like, you can bring your knees up. Just give yourself a little time to get your back nice and soft and relaxed. Oops, I need my timer. And then we're going to place either our block or our blanket just under between our hip bones in that nice flat place we have there, so that you can actually put your hand underneath between your bottom and your rib cage. There's a gap there. And if you like, you can stretch your legs out if that feels good, or if you prefer, you can have your feet flat on the floor. That's up to you. Test it out. If that's too intense, come back to flat feet. If that feels doable, then come to here. Remember, you can always put your feet flat if it becomes too intense after a period of time. So we're going to start. We're going to take a deep breath in. Oh, I hate these things. They always go to sleep too fast. And take a deep breath in, exhaling through the mouth. Let your shoulders melt down. You can have your arms out to the side if you like. You can have them on your belly, whatever feels natural for you. Breathe deeply. Make sure wherever you have the block or your blanket, that it's on the flattest part of your body, underneath your hips, and not on your waistline. Take lots of those deep breaths. Let them go. Let your body begin to relax deeply. Forget once in a while to take a deep breath and sigh it out. Don't wait for me to tell you. When you feel the need to do it, just do it. Take a deep breath into your belly and sigh it out. You have your legs stretched out. Bring your feet flat to the floor. A few moments here. Just breathe. We're going to come out of this position very carefully. So we're going to push into our feet. We're going to lift up just enough to slide our blanket or block out from underneath us. And we're going to gently, gently drop our back down to the floor. Keeping our knees bent. We're going to widen our stance, moving our feet away from each other. If you have a mat, you should be on either side of your mat. And then just gently windshield wiper your knees from one side to the other. So they're moving together. Just to the right and then over to the left, very slowly. Just giving your back a little massage. Now, the next time your knees come over to one side, you're just going to roll onto that side, keeping your knees up by your chest. Rest here for a second. Using your hands, and your arms, you're going to push into the floor. Don't use your back. Let your arms do the work, pushing you upright into a seated position again. And we're going to sit here for just a moment while everything comes back. We've got one more stretch to do before we go into our Shavasana. And it's going to be a stretch that's going to look a little bit opposite to everything we've just done. And you're going to need to open your legs up as wide apart as you can in your seated position. So if you'd like to sit back up on your cushion, you can do that. Otherwise, just wherever you're at this point, just open up as wide as you can. And you can take your blanket, you can take your pillows, you can take a bolster if you have one. This is a good place for a bolster. And we're going to come into a wide leg forward fold. We need to have whatever we're going to be putting in front of us, especially if it's a bolster, a little bit away from the body so we have room for our belly to head toward the floor. Now, if you're moving forward and you feel like you can't go too much forward before things get too intense, then you can also start to shove things on top of each other to make it higher for you to lean into. So, you can be here, you can put your block here, you can have a couple of blocks and a couple of blankets here. But the main thing you want to be able to feel is you want to feel not only your back stretch, but you want to feel the inside of your legs stretching a little bit as your hips rotate forward. So this is a hip rotation. It's really very important to make sure you're not thinking about bringing your head down anywhere, but you're focusing on pushing your belly down between your legs. So let's do that deep breath in, and you can stretch out. I'm just going to before you do that, let me set this. And we're going to take a deep breath in. We're going to stretch up. Exhale. Drop your belly forward. Relax down onto your pile of goodies. And just let your back feel this for a moment. Because we have been doing a lot of stretching around the waistline, your back might feel a little bit tender right now. So just breathe into that. Take those deep breaths into your belly, exhaling through the mouth. And then as your body relaxes, let it sink down deeper. Let's take another deep breath in. Sigh it out. You begin to feel too much tension in your legs, just play around with pointing your toes inward or outward to see if that helps. And if it's really, really hard, you can always have a bent knee position. Just try to relax as much as you can. One more inhale deep into your belly. Exhale through the mouth. Relax down again, just a little bit more. And very, very slowly, using your hands, walking your hands back toward your body, push yourself upright. Bring your knees in toward your chest, giving yourself a nice hug. And once you feel that you've relaxed yourself, your back feeling a little more relaxed, you can make your way down onto your mat for Shavasana. Bring your knees up to your chest when you do this so that you can roll around on your back and soften it up a little bit more. If you feel that laying flat is a little bit too hard on your neck, you can always have your pillow under your head. And you can always have your blanket, your bolster, or any of your other stuff underneath your knees. So if you have blankets, you've got a blanket, you've got some pillows, shove them under your legs for this Shavasana. And relax back and bring your knees up to your chest and roll here. Just to feel your back softening back up again from the forward bend. If you feel a little bit nauseated, just keep taking those deep breaths. Sometimes that happens when you lay down from this position after being forward fold. And then relax your legs out over your blankets or your bolster. Get them underneath your thighs so your knees can relax down. Let your feet relax. Let your body relax. Take lots of those deep breaths until you completely feel like you're melting into your mat. You've got a blanket, extra blanket, throw it over you to keep you warm. And let yourself go. Relax your jaw. Let your palms face up so your fingers can relax and curl. Let your mind just relax completely. Think about a place where you have always felt at peace. Whether that's walking on a beach, in the forest, or sitting in your room. Just go and spend a little time there. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, waking your body back up again. And bring your knees up to your chest and give yourself a good hug. Hug your body. Don't forget to thank it. Say, thank you, body, thank you. And you can give yourself a nice stretch, or you can just roll over onto one side and spend a few more moments just feeling how you feel and what you feel. And when you feel ready, you can sit up and join me in your easy pose, whatever that looks like. I'm going to close our class today. I'm going to close our class by just rubbing our palms together, feeling the energy we've just generated, just opened up. And as we do this, I want you to think about your back and your hips and what you're feeling there right now. And we're going to send some beautiful, loving energy there. So close your eyes, place your palms over your closed eyes, and when you breathe in, open them. Sending that energy deep down your back. Feel it go down. On your exhale, palms to ceiling, sending the rest of the energy back to the universe. Let's scoop up a little bit. Bring it back to your heart. Namaste. So very important to remember this. Yin Yoga is intense. We've just worked on an area of your body we haven't normally explored in my Yin classes. And that is your spine, especially the lumbar spine. So the lumbar spine has a limited amount of movement, and we've just taken it through its limited movement. So if you are not used to being able to move your spine this way, you're going to feel some discomfort. Even if you are used to it and you've been able to feel the achy stretch throughout the practice, you're going to feel it a little bit. And you might feel it today, you might feel it tomorrow. But remember, whenever we start to feel those aches and pains in our body, it's because we're waking it back up again. So please use what you have at your disposal to make you feel better. If you've got some really good topical rub, Voltaren or A535 or any of those products, rub it in. If it works usually for you and your aches and pains, rub it in good before you go to bed tonight. If you need to, you can take Tylenol. If you would prefer to have a nice warm Epsom salt bath, you could do that. If you're like me and a good glass of red wine makes everything feel better, you can also do that too. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching today. And if you have questions, now's the time. I'm going to give you a few minutes, if you like, at the end of the class to type in a question you have about the practice that we did today, about anything that you're feeling, if you're worried and concerned about how that felt. And if you have any other general questions about yoga at all, please, this is the time. You can ask me the questions now. I'll answer them live here with you. And maybe somebody else is also feeling what you're feeling, and they have that question as well. So I'm going to give you a few more minutes before I sign out. And so far, nobody's asking questions. Everybody is so shy. I want to thank you too for joining me today. I know where I am, it's a beautiful, gorgeous day. I probably would be out for a walk if I wasn't here with you, because it's so lovely and it's been so long since the weather has got to the point where it's not freezing cold out anymore. So very grateful for that. No questions today. Oh. And I see people are leaving. So then I'm going to say goodbye. Unless I see something pop up right away, I'm going to just give you another minute, and then I'm going to say goodbye for the day. If you have fluids with you, please, time to take a drink. Joyce, you're so welcome. You are very welcome. All of you are welcome for being here. I'm so happy to have this opportunity to teach you some yoga. And I look forward to next week when we can explore some different aspects of the yoga postures. All right then. As there's no questions today from anyone, I'm going to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now. Love you all. Bye.